Hello and welcome to our 9th session in this edit mode chapter, and in this session we are going to create a realistic apple. So to begin with, I have provided you with a link in the resources, and if you download it, you will get a file called as apple.zip. Open this apple.zip, right click, and you just unzip these files. And once you have unzipped it, inside this you have two files. One is the apple reference, and we are going to use this as a reference to create our model, and the next is the apple texture. So I have provided you with these two images. So now let us come into the Blender and start our modeling. So to begin with, I will just click here and I will just select this cube, press X and delete it. Come into the folder where you had downloaded your images, and now select this image and just drag it into Blender. So when you drag it into Blender like this, see, this gets added over here. If you see this, see, this is placed in some wrong angle. So if I press 1 and come into the front view, you can see that it is wrongly aligned, and to set it right, select this object and press Alt plus G. So now it is exactly placed to the center, and then also press Alt plus R, and actually it is assigned to my NVIDIA card. So in my machine it is not working. I will come into object clear rotation, and when you enable this, see, now if you press 7, your apple is correctly placed in the top view. I will press 1 and I will now press R X and I will rotate it by 90 degree and press enter. So now I have placed the apple here, and I will middle mouse click, turn it, and I will press G Y and move it a little back here, and we are going to use this as our reference image. And if I press 1, this will be our reference image. And now when I am working on this, I doesn't want this to get moved. So for this, I will come into my scene collection. I will name this empty as reference image, and then in the filter I am going to enable this selection, and then I will click here so that now you cannot select it and move it. So we have our apple reference image ready, and let us now start doing our modeling. So to start our modeling, I am going to model this using a simple UV sphere. So I will press Shift plus A, and in the mesh I am going to add a UV sphere. And then in the view, if I press Z, I will come into the wireframe view, and then I will just press Case and I will scale it up. I will press G, Z and move it down like this, and I will approximately set its position exactly at the center. I will also press G, X and slightly move it and see that it is correctly aligned to my apple. Okay, so I have just aligned this to my apple, and after I have aligned it, now we are going to start to change the shape of our UV sphere to match that of apple, and for this we are going to use proportional editing. So to begin with, I will select this and press tab and come into the edit mode, and I am in the vertex mode. I will press Alt A to deselect everything, and I am just going to select this loop. I will Alt click on this, and I am going to select all the vertices here, and I will press O to enable proportional editing, and I have selected here the default smooth, and then I will press yes, and I can set the influence area by rolling the mouse like this. I will just scale this and match it to match the size. So approximately I will also increase this reference area a little, and I am going to scale it like this. See, I will just scale it something like this, Then I will alt click and select the next one, and I will slightly adjust the scale like this. Then I will alt click here, this row, I will alt click here, I will press S and I will just scale it down a little. See, with this I will scale it up, and I am going to see that this shape should match to that of the apple. I will alt click and select this, press S, and if required I will reduce the influence area, and then I will just scale it so that you see that these edges are correctly matched. I will alt click this, press S, and I will just scale it and match it to the apple width like this. Then alt click and select this, press S, and I will slightly I will press shift to precisely scale it. So shift will help you to precisely scale it. Okay, so then alt and I will click this, press S and press shift and scale it like this. So I will reduce the influence area now, and I will just scale it like this. Then alt and select this, press S, I will improve, and I will press S, shift, and I will scale it to precisely match this width like this. Then alt and I will select this row, press S, and I will press I will right click, I will press O and disable this. Now I will press S and I am going to scale without this option. I will set this to this width, and I have this width. I will select this, press S, and this I am doing it without proportional editing. So I will just select this and leave it as it is. This line, press S and scale it. So I am doing it without proportional editing, and with alt I will also select this, press S, and I will just approximately match it over here, and also alt S, and I will just scale it and match it so that it matches the surface of my apple. You can see this stem. To create this stem, I will middle mouse click, and with the vertex selection I am going to select only this vertex, and I will enable proportional editing, and now I am going to select sharp, and then I will press 1 and come into the front view, and then press GZ and move it down, and as you move, increase this influence area and move it down like this. So I get this dip like this. So I will just proportionately add it, pull it like this. I need a face here to create this stem. So for this, what I will do is, first of all I will come into the top view here, and in this structure I will come into solid mode, and here I will press Ctrl R, and I am going to add a loop cut here, and I will slightly move it in like this. I will place it somewhere here. I will press GZ and slightly move it down. I will slightly move it down like this. Then I will alt click and select this entire line, okay, this entire loop, and then I will press GZ, and I will right click, I will disable this optional editing. I will press 1 and come into front view, and in wireframe mode I will just zoom in, and I will temporarily switch off my reference image, and I have this. I will press GZ and I will move it down to the bottom like this. Then I will press S and scale it out like this. Here I will shift click and select this. I want this to be flattened. So to flatten it, I will press 1, come into the front view. Now I will press S, Z, and if I type 0, see, now I will press enter. This has been now flattened. So now you can see I am now seeing one small face. I will press 1, I will come into my this wireframe mode and I will enable my reference image now. I will just press G and this time I will enable proportional editing, then I will come into smooth and then I will press G and slightly move it so that it is exactly to the position of this stem. If required, I will slightly even rotate it like this, okay, and I will reduce this influence and I will slightly rotate this. And now I am going to press E and I am going to draw this stem and I will pull it till here, I extrude it, then press G and I will reduce the influence area by rolling the mouse and I will place it here. I will press R and I will slightly rotate it. Then I will press E and move it again, and in this case I will slightly scale it up like this, okay, and I will press G and move it like this so that it matches my stem. Then I will again press E here, move somewhere here and then press S and I will slightly scale it like this, and if required slightly rotate it. Then press E again and move it somewhere here, press S and I am going to scale it like this, press R and rotate it like this, and in G slightly move it like this. Then press E and move it to the top here and press S and scale it out like this, okay. So then I am going to again press E and I am going to move it to the top here, and in this case I will just scale a little more like this. I will reduce the influence, scale it, I will move it like this, if required I will also rotate it like this. And now if I press tab and I will come into object mode, I will enable solid view, and if you see this, so now I have got this stem. So once I have got this stem, now the next part is I need this green leaf. So to create this green leaf, what I will do is I will press the tab, I will press 3 and come into the side view, and from here I need the leaf to come out. So I will see the reference area. See, you have this area starting from here to here. So this is the leaf area. So what I will do is I will press 3 and come into the side view. I will select this edge and I will select this one edge and I will press G twice and I will slightly move it to the top like this. I will press Ctrl R and add some 4 vertices here, and after I add 4 vertices, then I am going to come into this face view and I am going to select these faces here. See, I will select these faces like this, okay, and I will press X and I am going to delete these faces. Then I will select this edge tool, alt click and select this. I will right click and choose loop tool circle. So this will form into a circle, and I will open the circle option and see if it requires. I will slightly rotate and adjust this so that there are no overlapping edges. So okay, this is fine. And now I will press 1 and come over here and I will press E and pull out this stem like this, and I will press yes and slightly I will just reduce the influence area to only this area, and I will just move this and place it somewhere here like this. Then I will press E, then again I will press S and I am going to scale it down like this. Then E and I will bring it here and I will press scale and I will scale it down like this. So I am creating this stem here. and if required I will press rotate and I will slightly rotate it like this, and then I will press E and I am going to follow this stem. I will press another E here and then another E and add it here, press E again and pull it here, press E again and pull it here, press E again and pull it here. So, till here you have this round stem coming, but from this point I need the leaf. So, I will press E and pull the next part till here, and if required I will rotate this, and now I want this width to be less. Disable proportional editing. I will press yes, Y, and I will just scale it down and I will make it narrow, because now the leaf will be thin. So, I have made it narrow. I will press 1 and come into the front view. I will just press R and slightly rotate it like this, and now I am going to trace this leaf. So, I will again press E here, and this time I will press yes to scale it, and I doesn't want this to scale along the Y axis. So, only along X and Z axis I am going to create a scale like this. Press E, move it like this, again press scale, shift Y so that it doesn't scale in the Y axis. Okay, I will just pull it out like this. So, now you can see there is a slight amount of disturbance here. This is not straight. Okay, this is gone back. So, what I will do is I will press yes X 0 and I will make this 0, press enter and then R and rotate it like this, so that it is flat here. So, I will adjust this. Now, I will turn and see, okay, this is fine. I will press 1 and now I will press E, I will move it here, press R and slightly rotate it, yes, shift Y and scale it like this, then E, pull it, then press yes, shift Y and just scale it like this, then again press E, pull it, then yes, shift Y and scale it down a little like this, then again press E, pull it, then press yes, shift Y and increase the size like this, then again press E, pull it like this, yes, shift Y and move it like this, then again press okay, then again press E, pull it like this, yes, shift Y and adjust it like this, again press E, pull it like this, yes, shift Y and move it like this, again press E, trace it till here, press R and slightly rotate it if required, then again press E and move it here. I will just rotate it a little more like this, then yes, shift Y and I will slightly scale it, again press E, bring it here, yes, shift Y and scale it out like this, again press E, pull it up like this, and now press yes, shift Y and scale it like this, then again press E and bring it exactly to the center of this leaf, slightly rotate it, then yes, shift Y and scale it up like this, little like this, then again press E, pull it up, if required rotate it and then press yes, shift Y and scale it like this, E, move it up, yes, shift Y, scale it like this. So, you just trace the path like this. So, again press E, move it here, press yes, shift Y, scale it down like this, if required rotate it a little more, press G and move it a little like this, then press E, move it like this, press yes, shift Y and scale it like this, move it and adjust it like this, then again press E, pull it like this, then shift yes, shift Y and I will just rotate it and adjust it like this, then again press E, I will pull it down, and shift Y, and I will scale it down like this. Then again press E, pull it up, R and rotate it, and scale it down like this, little like this, press R and rotate it like this. So shift Y and scale it a little like this, press G and move it and adjust this. I will shift Y and scale it down. Again press E, bring it here, and shift Y and scale it down like this. Then again press E, pull it here, shift Y and scale it down and make it narrow like this, press G and move it here. Then again press E, move it somewhere here, shift Y and just scale it down and make it narrow like this. And then again press E, bring it down here, and now press shift Y and slightly move it like this. Now if I press tab, you approximately got the shape of this leaf. So we have now traced the stem and the leaf. Now only thing is, now even at the bottom here, the apple bottom will not be like this. So for this, I will press tab and I will come into the vertex selection mode, select this vertex, press 1 and come into the front view, come into wireframe, and then now here again enable proportional editing and here choose sharp, and now press GZ and pull this up and increase the influence area. So when you are moving, I have to increase the, I am not seeing the influence area. 1 second, it okay, now I am seeing the influence area. See, I will just increase this influence area, and I am just going to create a small depth like this. So in this way, so I got this depth here, and you have this end over here. So now if I come into shaded view and see it, so we have approximately got our apple shape almost ready. However, I will come into the front view, and in the wireframe, I am now going to fine tune this a little. I will come into proportional editing smooth, and then I am going to select this vertex here. I will press 1, and now I will press GZ, and I am going to move it up a little like this to match this. And similarly, now I will select some vertex here. I will press 1, press GZ, and I will slightly reduce the influence area like this, and I will slightly move this down a little like this, and then I will select this point here, and then press GZ, and I am going to slightly increase the influence area and move it up like that, because the surface will not be exactly smooth. So I will select this, press G and reduce the influence area over here, and I will move it like this. I will select this, press G and move it to this end. So I will just match this with this vertices. So I will just select it, press G, and now I will slightly make the influence a little bigger, and I will slightly adjust it like this. So I will also select this now and press G and slightly move it and adjust it. Similarly, I will select this, press G, and I will slightly move it in. Then I will select here, press G, and I will slightly move it in. Then I will select this part, press GZ and move it down, and I will select this part, press GZ, and I will narrow down, and I will slightly add this kind of projections here, because the bottom of the apple will not be straight. So I will come to the bottom, I will select just one vertices here, press 1 and come into the front view, and then press GZ and increase the influence area, and I will pull it out like this. And now similarly I will select one more vertex over here. I will press 1 and I will press GZ and move this here like this. Slightly I will reduce the influence, I will move it like this. I will select this part GZ and I will move it out like this. So in this way I will slightly move it. So I will select this GZ and move it down, and then I just match this. So I will select this point GZ and I will slightly move it down. I will select this point GZ and I will slightly move it up like this. So I am just creating the ununiform structure because it will not be exactly a sphere. So I will just move it in like this. I will select this, move it in like this. So once I have adjusted all these things, I will come into the shaded view. I will switch off this reference image, press tab, and now if you see this, you have got an approximate shape of this apple. See, now you are seeing this apple shape is fine. If required, I will select this one point here, come over here, and in this I will select smooth and I will just press GZ and I will increase this influence area and I will slightly move it up like this, so that I get this kind of surface on the top. I will also right click and choose shade auto smooth. So I have got this kind of surface, and now only thing I have is, only issue is this is very sharp. So I will press tab, I will click alt and select this entire thing, choose bevel, and I will slightly bevel this out and I will add some cuts. So 2-3 cuts, and now you can see this has been smoothened out. So like this. So even here this surface, I will just press tab, I will select this, press Ctrl B, and I will just move it up like this, and I create the surface like this. And here I have some kind of issue here. So I will just select this and I will just move it up a little inside like this, so that you have the structure like this. So you have this ununiform finish. So even here I will select this point, and if required G, and I will slightly move it back a little like this with the influence like this, so that I doesn't have those sharp edges anywhere. So wherever you find the sharp edges, you do this. So once you have perfectly created it, so even the stem is now okay. So now only thing is, in the top area I will select center vertex, and then I will press Ctrl plus to select this face. Then I will press I and create an inset like this, press E and slightly move it in, then press scale, there is influence, I will off this influence and scale it out like this, and I then select this edge over here. I will press Ctrl B and I will slightly create this, so that the surface is not flat. So we have a structure like this. So now you can see that our apple is almost ready. Now to test it whether it is right, I will come into the modifier, add modifier, and in search I am going to add the subdivision surface, and if I increase this to 2, you can now see how this appears smooth, or I will make it even 3. So now you have a smooth apple surface. Okay, so this is fine. Now only thing with this is, now our apple is ready. Let us add some right textures to it. So for that I will come into the material here. Now in this I am going to create a new material here and I will call this as apple, and in the base color I will click on this icon and I am going to choose image texture, and in open, in the folder where we downloaded our file, given you one apple texture.jpg file. Select that file and click open image. Now come into the texture view. You can now see the apple texture is applied over here. But now the only issue is this texture is getting applied even to this stem. But for this stem, I doesn't want this to apply. So for that, I will come over here and add a new material. I will click new and I am going to call this as stem, and in this, in the base color, I am going to just select some brown tint. So I am going to select this brown tint, and then here I will press tab, and now with this selection, with vertex selection, I will select one vertex at the center here. I will select this center vertex and then press Ctrl plus like this till I have this entire selection of the stem. But the only thing here is I doesn't want this stem to be selected. So for this I will come into the X-ray mode and then I will press C, this circle selection, and with middle mouse click, if I drag it, see all this will now get deselected. So I doesn't want this part to be selected. So I have selected only the stem area. I will right click and cancel it. So only stem is selected, and now I am going to assign this material. So now you can see that this has been applied with this stem. So, and finally for this I want to add the leaf color, which is green. So I will press 1 and come here. I will enable this wireframe mode and enable this toggle X-ray, and I will now press tab and come into edit mode, and I will come into face selection, and now I will press C and I will just drag over here to select this entire leaf part like this. So I will select this entire leaf part. So like this, I will right click, cancel it, I will middle mouse click, rotate, and see that the entire leaf is selected. So I have this entire leaf selected. If required, I will press C and I will also select this part till here. Okay, I will cancel this. So now for this entire part, I will come into my material and I am going to create a new material, and I am going to call this as green, and I am going to just add a green color, and I will slightly make it dark and then assign it to this. Now if I come into the texture view, so you have your apple now ready. I will press 7 and come into the top view, and I will select this light and I will slightly move it closer and place it somewhere here, and also this is a point light. I will just place it here and I will just press 7 and come into the top view. I will place it in the camera angle like this, and now I will press 0. I will come into the render selection. This is fine. Now I will go into render image, and now we have our apple ready. And now you can go to image, save as, and you can save this image as apple.png and save this and share this. And also I will close this render window, go to file, save as, and in your folder give this the name as 03_09 apple, and then click save to save this file. In our next session we will continue with our modeling by modeling a shampoo bottle for a marketing agency. So this we will do it in our next session. Thank you.